Joined by Stephanie Aaronson. She's Vice President and Director of Economic Studies at the Brookings Institute. Stephanie, it's good to have you with us as well. What does your research say is the best way forward here?
I think the thing we have to remember is that people are doing a very complicated calculus when they're deciding whether to go back to work during the pandemic. And the government also has a lot of objectives that they are trying to meet. So we want to boost the economy and reopen it. At the same time, we want people to be safe and stay at home when they can to help reduce the spread of the pandemic. And we want to provide stimulus for the economy so people have money to spend because the economy, households have taken a huge income hit. And the benefits that have been provided, both the payments to households and the UI benefits, have done a very good job of replacing people's income. And there is evidence that, retail sales are rebounding and people are beginning to spend again. And the question is how can we achieve all of these goals in the way that makes the most sense?
Right. Do you know what that answer is?
I think that it's actually hard to achieve all these goals with only one tool. So right now we just have UI benefits. And I think the idea of adding additional payments to workers when they return to work makes sense. In a sense, there's a type of hazard pay. So right now, a lot of essential workers cannot work from home. They have to go into the office to be able to work. And these workers overwhelmingly are relatively low paid. The median pay for essential workers who typically cannot work from home is about $30,000. And if we want these people to return to work, then I think it makes sense that we would pay them hazard pay in order to return to those jobs. In addition, because they do have to also balance what their family needs are, whether they have childcare. And so I do think it's the case, and past research has shown, although the UI benefits do, discourage employment a little bit, they're really not the main factor that people are taking into consideration when they're trying to decide to go back to work. So I think trying to accomplish all these goals only with UI benefits just doesn't make sense.
Not only that, Steve, but the $600 level was basically set because our technology isn't good enough to just give people replacement pay for what they were getting paid, right? The goal was just, hey, we'll pay you whatever you were making, but they just had to average things out across the country and say, on average, that'll be $600 more than jobless benefits pay.
Absolutely. They've had 4 months now to fix these darn systems and get them right. You would think they'd be able to. I read a paper that said it takes one adjustment to make it right. This idea, Kelly, about prorating benefits to the unemployment rate of a given state makes sense because what you're trying to do is calibrate helping people who can't find work with whatever incentive might be there to stay home, which I think, by the way, is overstated. But I will say you do not want to have it too high. I've talked to most of the liberal economists I talk to think you can't leave it at 600. You have to bring it down, but try to bring it down in a humane and graduated way that calibrates it to the difficulty it might be of returning to work or the difficulty in the job market.
Yeah, and again, it's ironic we're talking about this at the same time the president has floated the idea of perhaps more direct payments to households. So I think your point, Stephanie, is right on.